What's going on, everybody? GemMint here. We're going to go over today's new comic book day reviews. It's Wednesday, September 23rd, and man, so many killer books this week. Can't wait to jump into them. Before we do, we got to give a quick shout out to our boy John Del Arrows. His Kickstarter only has 9 days left for Flying Sparks Volume 4, Play No Games. Right now, he has 208 backers. He's raised $10,503, so he's more than doubled his $5,000 goal. If you like stuff like Chuck Dixon's Birds of Prey, Tom DelFalco's Spider-Girl, or Stephanie Brown's Batgirl, this is a book that's right up your alley. Great artwork, a fun title, and you're supporting an independent content creator. So use the link below to back John Del Arrows' Flying Sparks. And before we jump into the reviews, we have 2 trade paperbacks that Marvel gave us an early look at. This is the Deadpool by Kelly Thompson that comes out on October 7th. What's interesting about this is I read the first issue, I didn't love it, I dropped it. But in my video where I counted down all of the titles that I dropped so far, a lot of people were saying that I was crazy for dropping this and it's one of their favorite books. This collects the first 6 issues of Kelly Thompson's Deadpool. So if you want to give this one a shot, pick up the trade as it comes out October 7th. And then we got an epic collection. This is Conan Chronicles. This comes out next week, September 30th. And this is Marvel reprinting some of the Dark Horse material that was released in the early 2010s. It collects Road of Kings issues 1 through 12 and Conan the Barbarian 1 through 6. These bad boys have a $45 cover price, but if you want to pick up any kind of collected editions like Epics, like Omnibus, you can check out our sponsor, cheapgraphicnovels.com. They sell them up to 50% off cover price. They have great packaging, super fast shipping, helpful customer service, and a bargain bin where you can get titles up to 90% off. If you mention Mint Collectibles in the memo at checkout, your second order will have free shipping in the United States. So check out cheapgraphicnovels.com. Alright, let's talk about the couple of indie titles that I read digitally. From Image Comics, we have Gideon Falls. It's Jeff Lemire, Andrea Sorrentino. So sad to see this creeping closer to that final issue, issue 27. So we have 2 more issues to go, right? Issue 25 was great. It really kind of explained to us, almost like Crisis on Infinite Earth style, on where the Smiling Man came from. What is this devil of a person? What correlation does it have with Gideon Falls, with the Black Barn? So I think they really tied it together well here, because I was concerned, how are they going to wrap this up in like 3 more issues? Well, I could see what they did in this issue alone, answered a ton of questions. You have your traditional Andrea Sorrentino artwork, paneling, gritty, horrific kind of vibe to it, and Jeff Lemire's great writing. So another banger in the book of Gideon Falls. Another one from Image, we have Lauren Kelly and Jonathan Luna with 20XX issue 6, the black and white title. I always kind of compare it to like an American manga. At first I wasn't really digging the beginning of this issue, but then it got really good with this big action scene, East versus West. Those are the gangs they have in the books, using their kind of mutant powers to battle each other. So it got pretty exciting. I did like the middle to the end of the book with that big brawl. I'm not loving this title, but man, they kind of sucked me back in for another issue with how this one ended, so not bad. The last one from Image that I read digitally was Bliss issue 3. This is by Sean Lewis and Caitlin Yarsky. Bliss is getting kind of weird, man. I like where they went with the first 2 issues, but now we're really, we were introduced to this kind of, I don't know, alien creatures, and it's diving deeper into that. Also, our main character that was on trial, I thought this whole comic was going to be about a trial. They kind of flip it on its tail end here and go a whole other direction with this. Kind of, cool little chase scenes with the mother and the son kind of running for their lives. So it was interesting, but it's definitely going where I didn't expect it to go. All right, so round out the indies, we have my second title ever from Vault Comics. It's a new #1 issue called Autumnal. This is by Cross, Sheehan, Wordy, and Campbell. So this is a story about a single mother with a young daughter. She got in trouble at school. It looks like the mother gets in trouble in real life. And they live in Chicago. And it's very trendy. She's, a musician. She has tattoos. And she gets this call. Her mother has passed away. She's got to go to this small town where she grew up to go to the funeral and claim her inheritance. So it's kind of similar to another comic I read recently, Stillwater, by Chip Zdarsky, where they go into like this weird small town. That's where she grew up. It looks beautiful, but you can kind of tell that the vibe is off, that they don't like outsiders there, especially with her kind of progressive way of life, I guess, for lack of a better term. And the whole issue reads like a regular, story. Nothing crazy happens, but the end, you kind of get like this horror vibe, kind of reminiscent of Trees by Jeff Lemire. And it was interesting. It got me hooked. Very pastel, kind of painted, not like realistic painted, but like landscape painted type of artwork here. But another one from Vault. I liked the dialogue. It was very smooth. It really was a page turner. It wasn't like you got hung up on it like another book in this pile that I'm going to talk about. So I'll keep up with it. Moving over to DC, we got the Dark Knight's Death Metal Speed Metal. This is by Joshua Williamson, Barrows, Ferreira, and Lucas. So this is one of the many tie-ins, good tie-ins, that are coming out of the Dark Knight's Death Metal storyline. This one is about all the Flashes. It didn't feel as important as the other tie-ins to the Dark Knight's Death Metal storyline, but it was still fun. It ties in with this Flash issue that we'll talk about in a second. But all the Flashes being chased by the Batmanhattan and a horde of Flash zombies from the multiverse. I even like the little kind of joke they put, like, I hate fast zombies. Me too. Those are the scariest ones. So it was cool, and bringing the Mobius chair back in the mix, it seems like this will affect what's happening in the main story, so it's definitely worth a read. It was just a fun Flash issue for me. Artwork was smooth, colors were good, as you would expect, but not a lot really happened in here that I can recall. And then, like I mentioned, the Flash issue 762. This is the last issue by Joshua Williamson, who has been on this run for 7 years or a long time. You got Porter and Hi-Fi on here. A nice farewell to the current arc, to the current creative team. Wraps up the stuff with Reverse Flash, tied it up in a nice little bow. Colors were amazing. The running through the Speed Force stuff is just mind-blowing. And it was just a nice, wholesome end to a very long and very well-received run. But it looks like Joshua's not going anywhere. Batman and Superman issue 12. He's the writer on the title. You got Rayner and Sanchez here as well. It's a new storyline. Batman and Superman. Spoiler alert, it's on the cover. Brainiac is the villain here. Interesting story, man. We arrive, it's Batwoman and Steel. Arrive to a destroyed Batcave, smashed Batmobile, trying to figure out what's going on. They get a message from Batman, who kind of explains to them the situation and what they shouldn't do. But, the reception isn't the best, so they're going to do what they shouldn't do. But it's cool because it's Batman, Superman, but now it's Batwoman, Steel. So it's still like a Batman-Superman team to save Batman and Superman. I dug it. I like the artwork. It's been pretty strong on this title since it started. And Williamson's on the writing, so, I'm going to keep up with it. Moving over to Marvel, I thought it was very cool that they had the Rest in Power to Chadwick Boseman, 1976 through 2020. Such a tragic loss. And I like how Marvel paid homage on this week's comics. I thought that was great. Daredevil issue 22, Chip Zdarsky with Mobley, Olazaba, and Nyansono. I'm sorry, I probably butchered that. I love this cover, man. That Daredevil Iron Man helmet with the horns. So we're at the beginning of a new arc. Daredevil is being tried for the murder that happened earlier in this run. And we now have it where vigilantes are tried as a separate entity than the actual person with, the secret identity. Matt Murdock is not on the hook here, but Daredevil is. It wasn't really that exciting of an issue, but I still really like the interaction between Daredevil and Iron Man. Kind of like a metaphor with the rich and the poor. I like how they reference street level heroes here. It's such a comic book term that we use. To see it in comics was fun. And Daredevil's like, look, I'm not a street level hero. I'm a people level hero. And Tony Stark, I need you to spend some of them bucks to do something for me just in case I get put away as Daredevil for these crimes. So it was a nice issue. I enjoyed it. Always liked Chip Zdarsky's Daredevil, and it looks like he's not running out of steam. And holy moly, we got a Spider-Man issue 4, the J.J. Abrams and Henry Abrams father-son team with Sarah Pacelli and Dave Stewart. I thought this was never coming out. Issue 4, but I'm sorry to say it was the weakest issue and kind of the most out there issue so far. It was cool when the super evil villain was a little bit more anonymous. But the more we learn about him, it's like, it's kind of like a Mr. Freeze syndrome kind of thing here, right? And then we're getting really out there with the spider stuff. I didn't really love it. I think it's only a 5 or 6 issue miniseries, so we'll finish it out. But it is what it is. All right, guys. This is the big oversized 10 of Swords creation event. This is part 1 out of 22 for 10 of Swords, written by Jonathan Hickman and Teenie Howard. He had art by Larraz and coloring by Garcia. So this is oversized, and it's a lot to unpack, right? At first, I was a little lost because they're introducing a lot of new characters from Otherworld with this Citadel thing. But it really comes full circle if you've been reading the Dawn of X titles. I really loved it. Once we got to the X-Men stuff, once we got to the Council, the Apocalypse stuff, and basically this is the best, coolest version of Otherworld that we've seen in Dawn of X. It happened in Excalibur 12 last week, which was the only issue of that run that I really liked so far. And this felt like that in that good sense. So I like the whole symmetry with Earth, with Otherworld, with Krakoa, with Aroka, the kind of piece of the island that broke off. We learn more about that. A big betrayal here, and it pays off. It reads really well. The artwork is incredible during that scene. So overall, I thought I wasn't going to like this as I'm reading it. I'm like, oh man, this is going to be a chore. And I ended up really enjoying it. A lot going on. I mean, it is Jonathan Hickman, but I'm interested to see where it goes. And then speaking of another one I never thought I'd see the light of day, we got Doctor Doom issue 7. What? Christopher Cantwell, Salvador Larroca, and Guru EFX. I loved this issue, man. Doctor Doom riding in on a bear. He's got his little followers waiting for him. He's like, give me the ceremonial mask. He's got like the Shao Kahn Doctor Doom mask. I thought it was dope, man. And then we have Blue Marvel trying to fix that problem in the black hole, if you remember from the previous issues that I think were pre-quarantine. I love the whole black hole stuff going through the Event Horizon. I've been recently watching a bunch of YouTube videos about like black holes and universes and galaxies and stuff. So when I saw that in here, and even on the cover, Interstellar style, I was like, oh, damn, what a coincidence. I like this run from the start. It's funny because you're in black holes in outer space. You're down in hell with Mephisto. It's kind of all over the place, and it feels very multiversy with what's going on with Doctor Doom. But I enjoyed it. All right, I've been kind of looking forward to this one, man. Juggernaut issue 1, Fabian Nicizia, Ron Garney, Matt Miller. It was all right. I mean, it's referencing a lot of stuff from the prior Uncanny X-Men run that I didn't read. Juggernaut seems smarter than I remember. I always felt like he was like the Hulk with his intelligence, right? Like, no one can stop the Juggernaut. But no, he was kind of smart. He's basically working for... What's the name of that company from Spider-Man Far From Home? They had it in the movies. They clean up after the hero fights. I forget the name. Anyway, he's work for hire, demolishing buildings that are already destroyed. And he's coming across this group of kids that are living in these abandoned buildings. And that's kind of where the story goes. He meets this character, D12? D-Cell. And is it a mutant? Is it not a mutant? You'll find out. But it was okay. I mean, I didn't dislike it, but I think... it really wasn't anything to write home about. Artwork was okay. A lot of dark, gritty panels of Juggernaut, kind of giving you like a Spawn, Batman type of face. Very heavy on the shadows. New kind of costume, and it explains why, if you missed Uncanny X-Men like me. So it was okay. I didn't dislike it. Then we got The Immortal She-Hulk by Al Ewing, John Davis Hutt, and Marcio Menyes. I really like this, and it really helps if you read that Immortal Hulk issue 0. This ties in right with that. If you missed that, you'll probably want to skip this. But it ties in with Brian Banner, the Hulk's father, Bruce Banner's father. It ties in with all of the deaths that She-Hulk has had through her history in comics, and how it ties in with the Green Door, how it ties in with Bruce's father, and with the leader. So tying in with all the Immortal Hulk stuff. Is it a one-shot? I think it is. It was good, though. I definitely enjoyed it. If you read issue 0 of Immortal Hulk, pick this up. Then we got Maestro Issue 2. I love this issue, man. Peter David giving you classic Peter David stuff. Armand Peralta, Dale Cohen, Jesus Arbatov, and Jason Keith, I love the artwork here. It's funny because you're in this future where everything is destroyed. Presumably all humans are destroyed, but beautiful scenery of like a destroyed Las Vegas, other destroyed cities. It's funny because we meet the Maestro here, but Hulk's Maestro. So who is Maestro in this book? Well, you're going to find out. Fun story. I'm digging it so far. Maestro Issue 2. And that brings us to our pick of the week. Had to be Donnie Cates' Venom 28. Am I biased? I don't know. It was a big issue. Artwork by Gideon, and you have Arbitrov on colors, I believe. Bro, a lot gets revealed here. We find out who Virus is. We find out who Codex is. I love the Venom Beyond storyline. I think it's awesome. You get a lot of interaction with Eddie, and I forget what his wife's name was. We find out who the other good guys are, and it's familiar faces, which plays out really well. And I love the bad guys, man. You got Bad Omega Red, Wolverine, Juggernaut, Thing, all under the army of Codex, which I thought he was Null. He looks like Null, but we find out who he is. Awesome issue. Pick of the week, easily for me. But I want to hear what your pick of the week was in the comments down below. Guys, make sure you're subscribed to this channel. We are doing a giveaway once we hit 92,500 subscribers. And then we have other giveaways planned as we get to 95K, 9750, and 100,000. Make sure to follow me on Instagram at GemMintC Collectibles and on Twitter. I'm still kind of new on there, but I'm getting into Twitter fights, so I'm feeling right at home. Thanks for watching. You guys stay minty fresh and check out my old comic book review videos. Peace.